The latest socialfi game just launched and you're probably seeing it all over your timeline. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Crypto Gorilla video. Today we're going to take a look at Fantasy Top, the most talked about DApp on Blast right now and probably the most talked about on Twitter. As usual, this is for educational purposes only, not financial advice. So what exactly is Fantasy Top? You could think of it as a sports fantasy league, but instead of athletes, we got your favorite Twitter influencers. Now your goal here is to collect heroes, build up your deck, and use it to compete in their tournaments and win some sweet prizes. Now they did have a testnet phase. The mainnet recently launched. They had one flash tournament, but the first main tournament launched on Monday with almost 18,000 players and a prize pool consisting of over 220,000 gold, which is currently valued at roughly $4 million, 50 ETH, which is currently worth 150K. You got some cards, you got some fan points, and some stars, all up for grabs. So how exactly do you get started? Well, you're going to need to head over to their website, which I will link in the description down below. Feel free to use my referral code, which is cryptogorillaYT. And from there, you're going to need to link your Twitter profile and fund your wallet with 0.001 ETH on Blast. So not on ETH mainnet. Make sure you send it from Blast. And in order to compete in a tournament, you're going to need 5 cards. Now, in order to do this, you have 2 different options. The first of which is by buying a booster pack, which is going to come with 5 cards. However, the price right now is really expensive. This is a varying price based on how many people purchase that day, how fast they purchase. You could read more about it if you hover right here. And even though there's a ton of people buying, as you can see on the bottom right here, the current price is almost 0.4 ETH, which is over $1,000 for a pack. However, you're more than likely going to get some common cards in here and they're not going to be worth 0.4, which is why the second strategy is probably better, which is heading over to the marketplace and purchasing some cards. Now, before we do that, let's talk about what the cards are made up of and why they have value. Now, cards are made up of a few things. On the bottom left, you have the hero score, which is determined on the hero's influence over the last 7 days. And this is going to be compared to all the other heroes. So these are going to vary for all the different heroes based on how much attention they're getting on Twitter. And one thing we're seeing right now, which is unfortunate, are accounts being botted just to increase how much views they're getting, therefore to increase their score and help people win tournaments or increase the value of their cards so they could resell them on the secondary market. But this could really hurt a content creator on Twitter because they're going to get punished on Twitter for botting. So I would highly encourage you not to do this. So we have the hero score. The other thing that's going to constantly change is going to be their rank. This is just where they rank compared to everybody else. After that, on top, we have the stars, which is just going to show you their performance. However, this does not affect their performance in the tournament. And finally, on the top right, you have their rarity, which there are 4 different rarities. You have common, rare, epic, and legendary, which you can also visually see with the different colors of the card border. Now, you can be lucky enough and pull a rarer card in a booster pack. However, most of us are going to end up with commons, and you're either going to have to buy a rare, epic, or legendary, or you're going to have to create them, because you can create them by fusing 5 common cards together. Now, if you did fuse, for example, here I have Gen. If we were to fuse 5 common gens together, I have a 98.9% chance of hitting a rare. So I'm probably going to hit a rare, but I do have a 1% chance of hitting an epic and a 0.1% chance of hitting a legendary, which is worth the most. After that, if I fuse together 5 rares, I have a 99% chance of hitting an epic and a 1% chance of hitting a legendary. And if I fuse 5 epics, I am guaranteed to hit a legendary, but this is the most expensive option. Now, if we look at the points on the bottom left and we look at the rarity multiplier on the top right, you could see a rare is 1.5 times the common points, right? If you did the math, that's how it's going to work out. The epic is 2 times times, and a legendary is 2.5 times. And considering your deck can only be made up of 5 cards, you're going to want to have the cards that have the highest rank possible in order to finish in the highest possible position in the tournament. Now, in order to buy cards, it's very simple. You would just head over to the marketplace. You can filter just by common if you want. You can also filter by ranking or by price. I like the price by low to high. And then to buy something, I would just click on buy. You can either purchase it directly. You can sweep if you want to create a rarer version. I buy 5 at a time, so I use the sweeper. Or you can place a bid and then hope the person or somebody who holds this card is going to accept your bid if it loads. Here we go. So I could just place a bid, and then vice versa. If I want to sell a card, I would just go to my profile, click list, and then from here I can either set a price and try to get a buyer, or I can accept a bid if there is a bid available. Now, when it comes to buying, some of you might be buying to make a better deck. Some of you might be buying just to trade, right? You might be buying heroes you feel are undervalued and their price is going to go up on the secondary market. As it's still really early and everybody is trying to figure out a strategy here. And just like on Friend Tech, there was a ton of keys on Friend Tech that were undervalued. People were setting up bots and sniping new people who joined the game. So there's going to be a lot of money-making opportunities, but don't just focus on your favorite influencers, assuming that because they have a high engagement, those are the best cards. There's Frank right here. I have a common version of Frank who has 6 stars. So his performance is good. And for a common, if we look at his score, he has 582, which is decent for a common, especially compared to some of my other commons. However, if I wanted to purchase Frank, it would currently cost me 0.32 ETH to buy the common version of him. However, what I did instead was I went to look at a champion. Don't just buy Makesy, right? I have one. Maybe he's a good buy, maybe he's not. But if I were to buy 5 in order to make a rarer version of him, it's going to cost me 0.149 ETH to buy 5. So my Makesy, which is now a rare because I fused them together, is getting over 600 points. So he's getting more points than my Frank card, and Frank is over 2 times the price just to buy one. So there's a lot of strategy involved in order to get the best performing cards. And the other thing to consider is when you're fusing cards together, you have a chance to hit an epic or a legendary, which is exactly what happened to me for my G Money card. And when I bought my G Monies, the common version was 0.012. So the total cost for 5 was 0.06. And the last trade on the epic was close to 0.4. So that's almost a 7x just for buying some commons, fusing them together, getting lucky, and hitting an epic or a legendary. So again, a lot of strategy involved. I also want to highlight this post by both Zeneca and NFT Stats, where they talk about somebody's influence compared to their followers. Because a lot of us from 2021, some of our followers have disappeared. There was a lot of bots that went on with the raffles. So compared to my followers, I have over 150,000 followers on Twitter, but I don't get that good engagement compared to somebody like Jen, who has a low follower count, but she is getting a ton of views. So it's worth it finding these accounts that have low followers, but they have great engagement. Now, one of the top complaints I always hear for airdrops, for on-chain gaming, staking, whatever it is that it's a whale game. And this definitely applies here because there's money involved. Somebody can just come in, buy the 5 best performing cards, create a deck, and then sweep the tournament. But in order to counter this, they're introducing things like gated tournaments. This might be a tournament where you're only allowed to enter with common cards, or maybe cards that have a PFP from a certain collection, or maybe cards that have under 20,000 followers. There's a lot of unique things they can do here to make it fairer for people that just don't have $20,000 to throw out a floor. Now, the other thing they're introducing are Elos. So based on where you rank, on what kind of cards you have, you're going to be placed in a different Elo. Obviously, the prizes are going to be better for the people competing in the top Elos. And just like in League of Legends, I am once again going to be bronze stuck. But you don't need the most expensive cards to do well in these tournaments. Like we saw, there's over $4 million potentially of prizes to be given away in the Flash tournament. I had, not the best cards, and of 13,000 people, I still finished 2,300th. And in the current tournament that is running right now, there's 18,000 people. I don't have the rarest of cards, but I'm currently in 767th place. Now, some other things you're going to want to do, you're going to want to go to the rewards tab and check in daily, because this is going to allow you to get some extra fan points as well as some stars if you do these tasks down here. Don't be surprised if you have to click a few times. It doesn't always work, which reminds me, we did not talk about these. I don't know what the fan points do. I don't think anybody does, or they've said it yet. I hope it leads to some form of airdrop, or maybe you're going to be able to use them to buy packs or something. The other thing that we do know what it does are the fantasy stars, and these are going to allow you to enter into raffles where you could win a ton of prizes like gold, packs, ETH, a ton of stuff. So it's definitely worth getting as many of these as you possibly can. Now, I assume if you are playing Fantasy Top, you're also farming the Blast airdrop, and you're going to want to enter Fantasy Top into your deck for the jackpot. Now, I know it already won, but it doesn't mean they can't win again. This stuff looks pretty rigged if you ask me, at least for now. So I'm trying to front run what collections I think are going to win. But I do think if Fantasy keeps up the amount of attention it is currently getting, there's really good chances that it wins again, either a higher percentage or a lower percentage of the jackpot. So you're going to want to come here, you're going to want to click on multiplier, and you're going to want to link your wallet from the fantasy game. Now, in order to get this, you're going to have to click on your profile on the top right, then click export, and it's going to allow you to copy your private key. Do not paste this on Twitter. Do not save this on your PC in Google, wherever. Don't paste it in Discord. This is your private wallet key. The only thing you're going to do with it is import it into your MetaMask and then copy something else so it's no longer copied in your clipboard. And then once you've imported it in your MetaMask, you can come here and link your wallet. And then when you switch to that wallet in Blast, you're going to be able to add it as one of the cards. Just click here and you're going to switch to the NFT tab. I already have it selected, but you'd be able to click it. Now, a couple of things to consider before we end the video. The first one is I have no idea what their plans are in terms of adding new heroes, what the frequency is going to be. I'm trying to get added to the game, but keep that in mind. If you're going to deploy a ton of money into cards in order to build a really good deck, they're going to be adding in new heroes, which is technically going to dilute the supply, because now there's going to be more heroes to choose from. So the price of your cards might go down. They might also bring in, I don't know, Elon Musk, who is going to take the first place because he gets so much engagement. So the value of your cards could go down. So just keep that in mind. The other thing is that this is PvP. I know it's fun. We're all playing a game and influencers and all that. This is PvP. Just like in Friend Tech, everybody was doing 3-3, everybody was buddy, and then people got dumped on. The same thing is going to happen here with influencers cards. So don't get stuck. Don't follow whatever you see on Twitter. Remember, at the end of the day, this is about money, not about fun. And then also, this is very new and there's a ton of people using it. So it's trying to handle all the traffic. So don't be shocked if there's bugs, if you're getting transaction errors. It's perfectly normal, especially for the amount of traffic that they're getting. And finally, if you like fantasy and you want to learn more about it, I would suggest following these accounts. We got Zeneca, we got Jen, we got Apex, we got Clemente. They're covering a ton of Blast stuff as well as fantasy stuff, but you will definitely want to follow Travis, who is one of the creators of Fantasy Top. So if you want to learn, if you want to improve your deck, or if you want to find out about good trades, I would follow all of these people. That's it for today's video. I hope you found it educational. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, would you kindly hit that subscribe button, smash that bell notification. Thank you for watching another Crypto Gorilla video.